Good morning.
Hey, good morning, viewers and listeners. A very warm welcome to this scary Friday the 13th, Jeff.
I didn't even realize it was Friday the 13th.
Did you not? Yeah, it's Friday the 13th. Why do you think I look like this?
Yeah, thought that you were taking a bit of a turn from that usual being suited and booted, and you got like a bit of a hoodie, you got a bit of a gangster look going on today. Like
Yeah.
dark and dangerous.
Yeah. Anyway, you're listening to Ammar and
Jaff.
live on our weekly radio show right here on Spice FM.
Each week we try and bring you some views, news, and one or two clues from the business world.
Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider community.
And we'll be talking shop quite literally, not just corner shops. Whether you're looking to start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business, we can help.
We can help. We can help. And we do help, is what we do. Um, and gosh, it is, Jeff, actually, I need to present this because people spend a bit of time. Where we go? Where we go? There we go. I need to pull that back there, and I need to share this and do that. Share it. I We need to update our pictures. Like every time, so me and my daughter in particular love watching um, Bollywood movies from back in the day, and every time I look at this picture, I think of Disco Dancer, uh, and it's such a funny and fun movie. We were watching all of the songs last night, is what
Mm.
we were.
I'm
Um,
surprised, Lamar, they haven't done a kind of a remake of those traditional movies. Because imagine if they did, they would
be
box up,
brilliant,
big box office.
brilliant. Yeah. Like surely
Yeah.
Nasib, Disco Dancer. Yeah. Especially because I mean, Disco Dancer and um, Nasib in particular, I know all of the words too, all of the songs. And it's funny because it was 1982. Jeff, Disco Dancer um,
Wow.
was
Oh, isn't it?
1982.
Yeah, they
Like
should definitely do a remake.
that's like 41 years ago.
Phew. It's incredible, isn't it?
41 years ago.
Well, 42 years. Come
42
on,
years.
three.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, um, so yeah, I love this picture of you. Obviously, I'm talking about the picture of you, not of me. That's a very odd picture of me, and it's funny because it looks as if I'm almost wearing a toupee on my picture if I look at it closely. Because I've got like white hair on the side, and it looks as if I'm losing my hair. I am losing my hair as well. Is what I am. Anyway, so there you have it. It is Friday the 13th. And Jeff, I remember doing it's probably about like 10 years ago now, whenever it was, when we first done um, a detailed explanation,
Of Friday
um,
the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I remember that. Is it as much as
Because it was like the Last Supper. There
yeah.
was a whole host of other reasons as well. Um, um, and um, so Friday the 13th is considered an unlucky day in Western superstition. This belief stems from two separate fears: the fear of the number 13, known as I don't know whether you can pronounce this, but I'll try and pronounce it, Jeff. It is triskaidekaphobia.
Mm.
Tris triskaidekaphobia. Sounds like a Geordie word. Um, and the fear of Fridays. And the number 13 has been considered unlucky due to various historical, cultural, and religious reasons. For instance, there were 13 individuals present at the Last Supper, with the 13th guest, Judas, betraying Jesus. Do you know that story, Jack?
What, Judas betraying Jesus?
Yeah.
When he basically grasped on him on the Romans, didn't he?
You mean where, as in where he was? Is that
Yeah,
what he
and
did?
the Romans came. He was pretended to be a part of Jesus's clan, and then he basically just gave his whereabouts to the Romans, who then subsequently came and arrested him, and then obviously it led to the crucifixion, and that's
Mm.
why Judas is classed as being a betrayer of Jesus, and anyone that does anything. Back in the day, obviously, if you betrayed anybody, you would be called Judas. I remember the England footballer Sol Campbell, who left
Mm.
Tottenham and went to Arsenal, and Judas was the word prominently used in reference to him making that move. So I think these days, though, Ammar, as we've discussed in the past, the references to the old stories are slowly getting diminished day by day, aren't they?
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
But I think Judas is definitely one that most people would still know and understand the.
Yeah, I was just, I suppose I hadn't necessarily followed. Obviously, I followed Jesus' story, Prophet Isa Islam, and I was just trying to recall, was it a bit more than just simply, telling on Jesus? Was it a bit more than that? Is what I was trying to understand. But it's, I mean, the number 13 um, has been considered unlucky for various other reasons as well, including Norse law, so the Nordic. Um, the unease with Fridays has also been supported by Christian tradition, which holds that Jesus was crucified on a Friday. Combining these two elements, Friday the 13th garners a particularly ominous status for those who are superstitious. The day has been popularized in modern times by the Friday the 13th horror film series, entrenching its association with bad luck and spooky occurrences in popular culture. Are you superstitious, John?
A little bit, but not greatly, to be honest. I don't think. I definitely believe in the stories of the Bible, the Quran, the reference to whether it be Jesus or Moses or Solomon and Abraham. I don't think that's anything to do with superstition. That's just believing the old stories.
Yeah.
But it does take a lot to believe. For example, believing in the Virgin Mary. Obviously, some people will tell you that, well, no, that's not possible. So is that
Mm.
superstitious? It's not superstitious, is it? It's just a belief. Um, but superstition on, Friday the 13th is going to be, no, I don't believe in that kind of stuff as much. There's some, I believe maybe it's in fate,
Mm.
but not so much in superstition.
Mm. Yeah. Well, uh, is it different?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably a grey area, isn't it?
Um, uh, yeah. I'm just anyway. Um, it's Friday the 13th. Be safe is the key point. Don't overthink it. And it's like anything, isn't it, Jack? Because for me, what I don't understand is why do you keep looking younger every single week and I keep looking older? What's all that about?
Yeah. Need to put the right cream on the face, man. I'm not getting younger every single week, but you have to try and age in a dignified way, I guess.
What does that even mean? Don't even know what that means. Anyway, why would you want to do that? I think you should age in an undignified or indignified way.
No, I don't think you can, man, because then that means that you'll have like hair coming out of your nose, your ears, you'll have a pot belly. You won't be groomed, and whether it be your hair and whatever. So I think everyone needs presentation is a part of it's a part of the business world, isn't it? And I think it says a lot about who you are, how you carry yourself, and you obviously know that more than anybody else. But just because it's Friday the 13th, you've got this dark look about yourself, but usually it's like it's very smart and vibrant and colorful. So you've dressed for the occasion today. But
Well, even this top with its head chopped
that's
off,
one of
this
them.
teddy bear. I mean, why am I dressed like this? Because officially I'm not in the office, although you're always in the office. And curiously, the children broke up from school yesterday, Jack.
Mm,
Yes. So the 12th of December. And they don't go back until the 6th of January.
wow,
It's like
that's long, isn't it?
incredibly long for parents.
It's not like when we went to school. Bloody hell, we were off like a couple of
Imagine.
years before Christmas, if I can remember.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, I think it's just because these are like, yeah, uh, different schools. But it's so anyway, I've got to go and entertain them shortly. And coming back to the radio show, what's happening in the news? Well, let's just check out these um, headlines. The UK does what? SMEs plan growth initiative. So over 80% of UK SMEs report increased optimism, focusing on boosting new business and reducing fixed costs. Don't know where that statistics come from
That's
because
just
that's
that is
certainly
that
that
is
is just nonsense.
that's just
What
bullshit, man.
uh, that's fake news. I
Absolutely,
apologize to all of our listeners and
yeah.
viewers as to why we would be sharing. I need to put that statistic somewhere.
That's not true. And when I'm speaking to business people, having lengthy discussions with a number of business people, just general conversations over the last few days, every single one I've spoke to, they're absolutely furious about the budget. They think that 2025 is going to be really bleak. It's gonna the costs are gonna go up incredibly, and they're genuinely very worried and nervous, and they're all looking to. A lot of people are looking for exit strategies on how you
Well,
kind of.
everyone that I'm talking to is uh, is considering that.
I would tell you what conversation with Ash last week. I was thinking to myself, Ash, you know what? You're so lucky. He
Yeah,
probably can't actually. If he needs to be pinching himself and thinking, how lucky am I that a venture capitalist comes up and then they've got an open checkbook to take away all of my businesses after I've worked on them for 20. That's like a dream end, isn't it, to your um, dream end to your career, I guess, where someone's just going to pay you, take over your businesses, and you've got, I don't know how much you've got, but he's probably got like 20 mil or something in his bank, probably more,
yeah,
from that particular deal. And that's just the the ultimate position to try and be in.
yeah. It is a very scary. I don't know. I've just seen where that statistic comes from, and anyway, I don't agree with it. Um, and where you gone?
I'm still here. Can you not see us?
No, is
Oh,
someone calling you?
They did, but I'm still here, so I don't know what's. Oh,
Your camera's gone up. There you go. Jaff Cam has gone back now. Someone SME to me is typing. Brilliant. Anyway, so don't know where or why we're promoting those statistics. It's outrageous, and I apologize to everybody who is listening and watching, because that's certainly not how we feel, or the vast majority of businesses that we're talking to. But outside of that, Junction multi-bank launches to support families in need, redistributing surplus goods to families, fostering inclusion and encouraging SME contributions. Don't know where that is, but it sounds interesting. BGF reports 120 million investment in northern SMEs. Funding boosts growth momentum for small and medium businesses across the region. Northeast Mayor joins government's child poverty task force. The launch of the country's first regional child poverty unit to address root causes of poverty. There's grants available. Great if you want to innovate. And it's Northeast Ambulance Service. However, it's interesting that it retains Gold Award for Equality. But if I then reflect on um, how often the Northeast Ambulance Service features in the news from a negative perspective, Jack, it's a bit interesting.
mm,
Um, Last week in the main media, certain ambulance services, 99 call operators, were advising certain people calling them to make their own way to hospital. Jeff.
it's. I don't know what to say about that. I'm not just horrible. It's so sad.
Yeah, but we're paying for these services. Just out of curiosity, I'm interested. I'm intrigued in the fact that we're paying for services, right? The amount of tax being collected is huge, but the levels of efficiency and inefficiency and the bureaucracy and everything else, it just doesn't seem right, does it?
It's just so wrong. I just feel that the system that everything is heading towards, it's just so anti people, anti public. It's anti the daily working people, whether you have a small business, medium or large business. It's just anti people. It's pro big, huge, massive corporate multinational businesses, and everything's geared towards them, and they're the ones that effectively make the decisions because of all the NGOs and everything that's out there. They, they will put or they'll give the government all that funding and all the what do you call it over the election period where they're getting lots of monies in to fund their campaigns and stuff.
Campaigns, yeah.
They have to then obviously repay them by certain policy decisions. And if you think about it, I talked about this a few weeks ago. When you think about the concept of taxes, why is the concept of taxes have to go up every single year for every single year that you live? Where they just
Well,
find
the cost of everything else goes up. I mean, I don't necessarily have. So the issue I don't have, right? The issue I don't have. That doesn't sound proper England. Anyway, the problem I have isn't the fact that I've got to pay tax. I mean, that's just life, right?
yeah,
Death and taxes.
yeah,
The problem I have is what happens with the money when I pay those taxes, and how little or limited the people who are being paid through those taxes consider me in the fact that I've paid those taxes,
Yeah,
right?
but
And consider the value for money or efficiencies, such like, I mean, gosh, Jeff, you wouldn't believe some of the things that we hear week on week from business owners where local authorities, people in regulatory authorities are doing things, wasting time and resources, um, and they're doing it wrong,
mhm,
right? So they're not following their own processes, but you then get caught up in this back and forth. So yeah, if you have a license of any sort, if you're a landlord, if you have to do anything to do with sort of a process, the way that that process is administered is so poor and
mm,
so biased, right? That at times it fails, and all
mm,
of a sudden it just costs money. And
mhm,
where's that money coming from? Us.
yeah. And it's yeah, but I'm not just on the taxes though. Why do you feel that next year that you want to pay 50%, the year after that 60, the year after that 70, the year after that 80?
No, no, no. I'm
When
not sorry. Just for the purpose of clarity, I'm not saying that um, I want to pay more tax. What I said was if tax went up,
well,
in from a justified perspective. So if all of a sudden, right, we someone would say to me legitimately, look, we have the best services in the world, right? Or actually, not even we have the best services in the world. If someone said to me, we have good services, or we have fair services, but you know what? I'm going to demonstrate to you that we cannot keep providing these services because we've hit a peak. Would you mind contributing a little bit more to maintain these good services? I would go just like, restaurants, just like our services, just like cost of living, just like whatever. If because the cost of delivering something was going up, but the delivery of that service or product was as good as it could be, right? Doesn't have to be the best in the world. It is as good as it could be. I'd go, fair enough. I get it. The problem I have is when the services that we're receiving are absolutely abhorrent,
mhm,
right? It is, you can't get an appointment. You can't, you're on a waiting list forever. You can't, social care is like everything is squeezed. So I'm curious as to where all of these billions of pounds going if councils can't balance the books, if hospitals and various other services can't balance the books because of how much money they're not getting. And I'm
mm,
sat there thinking, but I can see how much you are getting, and I would expect to have a certain level of service.
mm,
And then in the midst of all of this, because I always take a very optimistic and balanced view, there's some brilliant people out there. The work that we're doing with the education department at Newcastle Council, it is brilliant. The people, the enthusiasm, people in schools, some of the teachers, they're so devoted to make a difference. And I do need to just highlight that I would kindly ask, um, hello, is it your Christmas party starting early?
yeah. All the people are coming in, man, coming in from the pubs, man.
Brilliant.
Oh,
So there's some brilliant people out there, and my ask is there is a questionnaire that we're going to be pushing out around special educational needs, Jeff. Special educational needs and disabled people, they are across every community. They need a little bit extra support. They need a little bit extra help. They work in different ways, and I'm curious to see how we can support them. So there's a questionnaire that we're just asking everybody to fill out, please. So please consider that. I would kindly ask every employer everywhere just to fill out this simple questionnaire.
Brilliant.
Anyway, there's some brilliant people out there. Don't want to take that away, but generally speaking, the cost. I certainly begrudge paying extra taxes when the services I'm getting aren't good enough.
Yeah,
That's what I begrudge.
of course. And I'll just begrudge every year there's ways of taking more money away from everybody, whether it be the pension age going up and A, B, C, and D. Compare that, to a few years ago. Um, I remember about 5 years ago, I went to Windermere and I sat in an Indian restaurant. And there was an old uncle there, he's been there for many, many years. And he was saying, he said, do you know what? Do you know there wasn't any VAT in restaurants until 1980? There wasn't no VAT on takeaways. There was no this and there was no that and A, B, C, and D. And he was reeling up everything. And I was thinking, my goodness, how it's changed so much. And even like the idea of, the VAT on school fees and stuff that we talked about. I mean, these are just um why is it that every year there's ways of just taxing everybody? Because you said that the costs are going up, but then the taxes pro rata going up as well, though, as the costs go up. If a business's costs go up or they put the prices up, the government's going to get more VAT in line with inflation or whatever it may be. So surely there needs to be a point where it's set and there isn't anything going up anymore, because you're getting a big share of the taxes. And if you're going to keep on just chipping away at it, then businesses are just going to collapse. And it'll be really interesting to see what happens in 2025. Because I think a lot of the businesses are really skeptical and worried. So hopefully, the government will, before anything drastic happens, they'll realize that they just can't constantly keep on putting them up, and there needs to put a stop to it and let the country stabilize. With everything that's happened over the last decade or so, from Brexit, the pandemic, and all the wars, it's having massive impacts on just your daily running of a business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad, it's scary, it's yeah.
I'm going to have to make a move, unfortunately, because I've got a meeting at 11 and I have to drive over to Jesmond, find parking, and get to that meeting.
Don't worry, you've got another few minutes. I think we've got a guest coming on the show shortly as well.
Okay.
So hopefully someone will be joining us. One of our award winners, Wenyan Sharpe, Marketing Director at SolaX Power and ABC Business Award winner. So Jeff, it's the weekend before the weekend. Anyway, let's just quickly talk about International Human Rights Day. Human Rights Day, observed annually on the 10th of December, celebrates the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The theme this year is Our Rights, Our Future, Right Now. Highlights the role of human rights in building peaceful, inclusive, and sustainable societies. My concern with all of this is, if you look at what's going on in the Middle East, it looks as if there's a difference between humans, isn't there?
Yeah, I think they're not classed as humans if you're from the Middle East. I think it's a lot of, I think internationally, there are some brilliant people over the years that have got brilliant, absolutely brilliant policies and ideas in place. Unfortunately, the certain countries pick and choose what they want to follow. And if they want to exempt themselves out of certain international rules and order, they will do so. And whilst on the face of it, that's a brilliant concept, human rights, it should apply to every single human being on the planet and with equal level of fairness. And if you have double standards and you treat some humans with more of a respectful way than others, then that idea is flawed. It doesn't mean it. In essence, it's a fantastic, it's an absolute need for every single human being to have particular rights on what they can and cannot do. But it needs to apply to, if you want to be international, you want to be able to apply it across the board. You can't just sugarcoat it and make a big deal out of it, and then don't follow it.
Oh, it's anyway, it is incredibly sad. And the ripple effects that it has globally is if it's all right for one country, then why isn't it all right for others? Which is clearly wrong. That type of thing
Yeah.
isn't good from that perspective. Anyway, we will have a guest coming on, and I wanted to briefly talk about scaling up and things like that, Jeff. So if you feel the need to leave,
Yeah.
just very briefly, Jeff, it is the weekend before Christmas. How's it feeling in the city centre now?
Yeah, I think it's good. City centre is very vibrant at this moment in time. And I think hopefully it'll remain vibrant until the end of the year. Anyone have announced the firework display on the quayside, which hopefully it's going to be manned and managed with some kind of a MC to welcome people and talk. Because one of the years there was just the fireworks going off, and we needed an MC to make a big show of it, and hopefully that'll be organized. And yeah, I think it's hopefully be a good end to the year.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we'll be back obviously next Friday with the end of the year type thing, and our good friend Mark Patton's going to be joining us, Jaff.
Excellent.
So he'll be here for the show next week. He is the director of education, one of those wonderful people that I've recognised and acknowledged, doing an amazing job. And Jaff is now going off, and
Good to
we
see
have
you.
Wenyan coming in. So thank you, thanks, Jeff.
Thanks,
And
man.
we didn't talk football, but we can do
Oh,
that
we'll
next week.
do
I
that
think we
next week.
can.
All right, take care. Bye bye.
All right, thanks. So as I've mentioned, Wenyan's not only the marketing director at SolaX Power, but is a very worthy ABC Business Award winner. And we're honoured to feature Wenyan Sharpe, a trailblazer in marketing, sustainability, and business leadership. Wenyan's impactful career spans multiple sectors, demonstrating her dedication to innovation and driving positive change. As the UK marketing director at SolaX Power since May 2024, Wenyan is at the forefront of promoting cutting-edge solar energy solutions, including inverters, battery storage, and EV chargers. Her work supports SolaX Power's mission to revolutionize energy consumption and foster a sustainable future. Let's get Wenyan on the show and let's have a chat with Wenyan right here, right now. Wenyan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning.
Good
Welcome.
morning. Can
How are
you?
you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful, and there you are in person as well. So it's fantastic to have you on the show. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us, and congratulations once again on being an incredibly worthy ABC award winner, winner of the Business Award. So let's kick off, Wenyan, if we may, with who you are, what you do, why do you do it?
Right, I'm Wenyan Sharpe. I'm working in SolaX Power UK as a marketing director. I really love my job because I'm very, very passionate about innovative technologies to support sustainability and help the government and businesses to reach their net zero target.
Oh, brilliant. So it's an energy company. So before we jump into that, when you tell us a little bit more about you. I mean, you've supported, you're a true entrepreneur, you've made a huge difference from a business perspective. Tell us, take us back to the beginning. Where did it all start and how?
Well, I came to the Northeast when I was 16. I had my educations mostly in the Northeast, in Sunderland. I did my degree, I did my MBA at Newcastle, and I really enjoy living in the Northeast. Then I started my first business was in restaurant. I opened Asian in Sunderland, and then when my daughter was older, she started school. Then we decided to move to Newcastle. Now I started my PPE and tools business. Until recently, I've been approached by SolaX Power to join them as their marketing director to help them grow their UK business.
Brilliant. And SolaX Power, for those of our listeners, Wenyan, who may be unaware, tell us a little bit more about them.
SolaX Power, the parent company is in China. We're one of the largest manufacturers in the world for solar storage, solar and battery storage solutions and EV car chargers. At the beginning of next year, we're also going to bring out heat pumps. So we have a solution for all energy requirement and one application.
Oh, brilliant.
So
And,
yeah,
and they're one of the biggest in the world, did you say? As in
yeah, one of
they're
the leading manufacturers in the world. Yeah, we have over 2,000 staff globally, got 80 offices around the world, and the UK is one of our major markets. Our head office is in the Midlands, but through Midlands we support the whole UK from all the way to Scotland, Ireland. So yeah, we also have engineers. So like I say, always say, these days we not just sell a glass, a cup to the market. We are selling high technology product, and I really like the way SolaX they care about the customer. They always emphasize on after sale care. If there's problems, they send the engineers on site to help end users to solve the problems.
Yeah, brilliant. Sounds like a great company. And actually, it's a great market, isn't it? Because,
Yeah,
one of the things globally that both individuals and organizations are concerned about are sustainability and how to become a bit more sustainable. And your products enable both businesses and individuals to do that, right?
definitely. For example, like in the catering businesses, and yeah, there's also a lot about education. I was at the SME for Labour gala dinner in London earlier in the week when the chairman of SME for Labour, Abraham, he works with over 25,000 kebab shop, restaurant owners, and he even didn't know through our technology how much we could save his electricity bill. So there's a lot of education we need to do as well, and the SolaX actually also provide free training as well. So for people, installers, or even end users to understand how our product work and how we can save money for them.
Oh, brilliant. And this is the thing, right? It's very much a case of seeing how businesses and organizations can become a bit more sustainable because they don't know what they don't know. And part of the issue is everybody's talking about sustainability, saving the planet, and as a small business, you sat there thinking, okay, I'll turn the lights off, I'll change some light bulbs, and I'll do some, I'll recycle a little bit. But
Yeah,
actually, it's the energy side of things which are not only the biggest costs for businesses now, outside of labor, outside of people, the biggest cost and the biggest challenge is energy, but also then considering sustainability. So the you having that range of products is incredibly attractive. But then the fact that you're launching heat source pumps as well make it a holistic service offering, right?
Yeah, definitely. And also, we serve from domestic market to commercial, even to utility scales next year as well. So, your big big BSS farms, battery farms, battery
Right.
energy, solution farms, which help to the national grid to balancing their grid.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. So if someone was thinking of sort of, what would they do? Thinking of from a business perspective, is there should they go to a website? Should they have a conversation? Just wanting to be educated a little bit more around sustainability, about energy, and some of the solutions on offer.
Yes, we have a website which is solaxpower.com, and we have training centers in our head office in Adderstone near Tamworth, and we also have a training center in the northeast in Newcastle Lomax Training Center. So, if people want to learn in person, more than welcome to attend our weekly training sessions at both training centers, and we are also expanding our training centers across the country next year.
All right, so you offer training to who is that, Wenyan? Who's that training offered to?
Mainly it's for installers because
Right.
they need to understand how to install our products, make sure our products are installed correctly, and they will receive certification to say they are certified installers. But also, if you're homeowner or business owner, you just want to understand how this works, you can still attend, and our trainers will provide you all the necessary information as well.
Great. Sounds like a fantastic offer. Not only do you have, world leading products, you're also providing the training for installers and able to educate consumers so they make the right choices as well. Coming back to you a little bit, Wenyan. So, what drives you? What's your passion?
My passion is I've been I love doing business, and I love the UK. Came here, I had my education here, and I feel there's a lot of support through all the business associations, and particularly like through you recognize my contribution to the community. And as I mentioned earlier, I've even been invited to this gala dinner with SME for Labour. Met many politicians at the dinner. They highly recognize my contribution to the community and help um, the government with the energy side of things. So yeah, I can see there's a lot of future development what I'm doing, and to help reach net zero and save the environment.
Brilliant. And it is, and you rightly recognized. So, just coming on to the awards themselves, when you were shortlisted, there was hundreds of nominations, and then you were justly and rightly recognized, and you won the business award, which is a real major award. What was that like? What was the evening like for you? Had you been to the ABC Awards previously, or was this your first time? Or
This was my very first time. I was very, very surprised that I got the nomination. So yeah, actually, when I received a message on my LinkedIn to say, "Oh, you've been nominated for this," I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" So I was really, really surprised, and that night I was quite emotional. I came here nearly 25 years ago, and how much I've achieved from a student to now quite successful businesswoman. Actually, at the very beginning when I started the business, because the industry I'm in is quite men dominated, and I've been asked this question: "You are a woman, and you're not even English. How can you be? How can you think you'll be survive in this industry?"
oh, and
So
look at
now,
look at what you've done. Look at what you've done.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, like you do a lot to do with inclusion. I think this is very, very important, regardless your race, your sex. Everybody should be all involved, should get recognized for your achievement, should be encouraged to do things.
And on that point, Wenyan, thank you for that, and thank you for sharing that. Because one of the things, I've been a male ally, for all of my life, because the most influential people in my life were women. Whether it was my late mother or my daughter or my sister or my wife or whoever as in I've always been like championing. And over the years, it's starting to change a little bit. But one of the things that we recognize as Asian Business Connections is that whilst there's a lot more opportunity for women and white women, Asian women still have further to climb, and it's still harder it's more harder for Asian women than it is just for white women. And I'm not saying that it's not hard for white women. I'm saying there's an added complexity, and there's research
Yeah.
to prove this, right? But I mean, as an Asian entrepreneur, a leading Asian woman entrepreneur, um, how hard is it for you? And what advice have you got for other Asian women on what type of things they could do and what they should do?
Well, like I said at the beginning, was very hard, especially in the men-dominated industry I'm working with. You constantly, people think, you're a woman, you don't understand how constructions work or these kind of things. And second, you are even not British. Maybe your language is a problem. Can you speak proper English? And all these. But to me, I think I always believe just continue doing what you're good at and apply your self-discipline and always keep your promises in business. Never let people down. Never burn your bridges. And one day you will succeed.
Brilliant. Some fantastic tip. I'm going to take some of that advice as well. So thank you, Wenyan.
Thanks.
Anything else you'd like to share with our viewers or listeners before you go?
I think that's everything. Yeah. Unless there's something else you want to ask me.
I mean, I can sit and talk to you all day because
I know.
it's fantastic. So okay, well let's do that. Let's ask you a couple of more questions if I may, because I've got you here. So what's been the highlight of your career, Wenyan? What's the big deal?
The big deal actually when I won the award.
Brilliant.
That's really, I thought, oh, I finally got recognized. I'm not just, started as a woman, not English, actually now look at me, I've achieved an award.
Which is fantastic. And the importance of those awards, Wenyan, as in if people haven't submitted a nomination or haven't got involved in those awards, how important is that?
Um, Sorry, say that again.
So, people probably wouldn't think about nominating people, or people might not self-nominate. And one of the things that we're trying to do is sort of encourage people. How important is it to recognize and make the time to either submit a nomination for somebody else or for yourself?
Oh yeah. I think you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
Have the confidence to submit it. Always, prize yourself. Make be positive. For example, like my daughter, she's constantly saying, "Oh no, I'm not as good as others." But you need to look at the bright side. You never know. I never
Yeah.
thought I would win this award, and if not because of the nomination, I even didn't know how much worth I am.
Yes. And you are. You're incredibly worth, and we're delighted that not only are you an award winner, but you're now one of our awesome women as well, Wenyan. So the awesome campaign is Asian women entrepreneurs, or Asian women leaders. who can inspire future generations, come and give talks, go into schools as and when, or talk to future generations and help them, realize their ambitions and raise their aspirations. And having a daughter, it's wonderful, right? Because your daughter can see now what you've achieved and what she can achieve as a consequence as well.
Definitely, yeah. I always try to show her a role model and be positive. Even you have a bad day, as long as you think positive, you even improve 1% a day. I always apply that rule with her. You will be much better by the end of the year. So never get one little thing and get yourself down.
And do we know what your daughter wants to be yet? Is there any ambitions? Does she want to be a brilliant entrepreneur like her mother?
Well, since the age of 3, she always wanted to be a lawyer, and this never changed.
Oh, fantastic. Excellent. It's a great profession, and we need them. Despite people sometimes not wanting them, we need them. They do a critical role, and it's a wonderful ambition. I'm fortunate to be married to one. So I know how
How
great
that
they
works.
are and the impact that they can make. So Wenyan, what does the future look like for you? What's the plans?
The future is really now. I'm really enjoy working for SolaX Power. I want to help SolaX to bring to their next stage, especially next year. We launched the new heat pump, the utility scale products. I think there's a massive challenge for
Mm,
SolaX, but I'm ready to work with the senior management to bring the business to next level.
mm. Yes, wonderful, some great ambitions, and I know that you will make a huge difference, Benyon, and you're already making a huge difference to Solax and our region in particular. And it's fantastic that you're flying the flag for the Northeast, attending, gala dinners with the Labour SME party and various other things. What else do you do in your spare time, Benyon?
On my spare time, I do like enjoy a bit exercise, going out with my friends. Like I think a few of my friends probably you know them as well. Actually, this weekend we're going to a comedy club. Have a meal. Yeah, these kind of things too. Socializing with friends. You need your friends.
Oh, undoubtedly. Wonderful. So, friends, socializing, keeping fit, and inspiring others. Wonderful. Thank you ever so much for joining us, Wenyan, and
Thank you.
congratulations once again.
Thank you.
And do come on and let us know how the journey's going in the future, and maybe even consider coming and inspiring some young people through some of our activities.
Definitely, yes. It's a pleasure to support.
Wonderful. Thank you. All the best,
Thank
Wenyan.
you. You too.